so stoked to be here.
You know, that's the first time the guest has spoke first.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Should we switch seats?
It could go that way. It could go that way.
With us, you never know.
Daniela Sfara, welcome back. You have returned to the shores of Dubai. I'm going to look directly. You can look at the camera, actually. I never told you that in beforehand. You can look and talk to the camera if you want. So I'm going to... It's Daniela, okay? If you want to know about her upbringing and her history, it's episode 7, okay? Because she's come back a year later. So look, welcome back. It's great to see you again. It really is. We've been talking for about an hour and a half, and I forgot exactly how much I love you.
Oh, my God. It's so crazy, yeah.
Why are you back?
After the 1.5-hour conversation, I don't know.
Don't give any of those answers.
No. Are you kidding? I don't know. I think I clearly did something right the first time that I was given a second invitation. So yeah.
Well, the last 2 sort of supper club events you did with Media One and Studio One were a raging success. You actually made me look very good. To be honest with you, I can say that now because I did tell you I've left Media One. Just sort of like, this is going out on Tuesday the 13th and I left on Saturday the 10th. So there you go. It's all very new. But you did make me look good. So thank you for that because I found you very, by chance on Instagram. You came and did an amazing week with us. You took over the whole hotel. You were like a Tasmanian devil. Everyone loved you. And when you went away, people said to me, wow, you know, that set a new benchmark for the guest chefs. So live to the world. Thank you.
Love it. And thank you. And how has the rest of the benchmark been?
Actually, really, really good. And it has. And because when it's no bullshit that what you did was so well executed by you, your menus, your prep, most of all, your enthusiasm and your energy for like seizing the opportunity to come over here, and how I just think how sort of, like I say, grateful you were and how grateful we were for that synergy to come together. Every future guest chef, we've looked for that and we've always said, Daniela, you know what I mean?
So why the fuck is my poster not up full time?
Wow, you've just gone straight in with an F word. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the earliest. We're setting new records.
Well, no, you had told me last podcast, no swearing.
Yeah.
And I had to, do it in Italian so nobody would know. But now it's all open.
Why? What makes you think you could go there?
Well, I just did.
Yeah. You just did. Thank fuck. Okay, but let's keep that limited.
Very limited.
So the thing is okay, you are back. You're back at Media One and Studio One. So please, what are you doing this time?
I am so excited. So it's actually not 1 week this time, it's 2 weeks. And so what we're doing is full circuit supper clubs, exclusive evenings, and a little bit of very exciting menu swapping for different menu items. We're going to bring in a little bit more heritage to your summer menus. So I'm super excited about that, which means we get to bring in our ancestors into your beautiful Ciao Bella and L'Arte kitchens. So it's going to be exciting. I'm excited about the supper clubs because, oh my God, and you nailed it and you said it. It's just the energy, the synergy that we have. You both have incredible clients that come stay with you, that come have dinners here. And what I really loved is that before coming here, Dubai was never on my radar, ever. And after the experience that I had, it is a place that I can say with complete certainty everyone should experience at least once in their lives.
Why was it not on your radar?
Truth be told, I love traveling to places that have, I love Italy. And so I can go to Italy, as often as I can throughout the year. And that's still not enough for me because I love it so much. And I love it for its renaissance, for its history, for its architecture, for the agriturismi, for everything that I felt familiar with. And it's not so much that Dubai is not familiar to me. It just seems extremely modern when you look at it through social media eyes. And yet you come here and its grandeur is beautiful and its grandeur is modern. But the people here are so exceptionally warm and welcoming and kind and generous that you forget that it's just a modern world. And there's such a beautiful level of humanity in this place that I think we forget we need everywhere else in the world sometimes. So
did you not expect that? Like,
I didn't know what to expect.
because I think globally, I think there is the Dubai that people think they're going to enter and the one that's actually here. And I've had this with a number of guests where there is a big difference to what you think it's going to be like to what it actually is.
So that's a great question. And yet here's the very interesting thing. After you had mentioned, coming, the one thing that I was doing was checking regulations for myself traveling here. And it wasn't so much, is it safe, is it this, but it's what do I need to do as a woman? What do I need to do as a solo traveler? What do I need to do as this? And I didn't necessarily go to social media first, the way everyone else does. And I did that after I left. And so I started making more connections in Dubai after I left. And that's where I started to see exactly what you're talking about, that paradox of visual, where it looks very different on social media from what it actually is. And you can go on TikTok, you can go any platform, and what you'll see is come to Dubai, make millions of dollars, come here, come here, come here. And so there's so many people that have this misperception of what Dubai is. And yes, absolutely. It's a fabulous place to make incredible opportunities for yourself, to accelerate at unbelievably high levels, but you could do that anywhere in the world. And what people forget that I have not seen anywhere is the level of beauty that people have in Dubai. And nobody talks about that on social media. And I got to see that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I got to see that without the jadism, if you will, of seeing it through social media first. Almost like the way most of the world does now. They won't enter a restaurant without checking reviews first. Well, I didn't check the reviews first. I just came in because I'm a person of experience and I love to feel things and I love to connect. I love nuance, and you're not going to get nuance if you're checking a curated parcel.
100%.
So, yeah.
No, I'm glad you raised that, because I do think that, and I've said this numerous times on the podcast, and I think it is part of something I'm trying to expose with this, is that, yes, there is the bling and the wealth, and it's here, and some of it's fantastic. It is when you know, I've been to numerous places here, like Royal Atlantis and stuff like that, and I think somebody I think there's an English guy did a vlog that he was leaving Dubai and he was like, on the roads, there's loads of Rolls Royces. It's like, well, what's wrong with that? You know, it is fantastic in that way. Then what you see a lot of traditional Dubai from many years ago, where they're just showcasing, it was a desert and now look at all these skyscrapers. What I think there's not enough of is the bit in the middle where there is a wonderful amount of what I like to refer to as normal people. Normal people doing normal stuff, enjoying the weather, working hard, being polite to each other, living in a safe environment. And I'm glad you raised that, because I don't think enough people know that it's wonderful. It's got a wonderful middle. I don't know what you would call it. Not working class, like middle.
Well, I
what
think
would I call it?
Just the norm, really.
Normal people.
Yeah.
Good. How's your flight?
Oh my God.
I had to. How was your flight?
And you want to wonder why I threw the F-bomb in there within 3 seconds?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I had this beautiful conversation with Natalia.
Love you, Natalia.
I'm going to have a very different conversation with her after this. And so we talked about her booking and the ticket and everything else. And when I had started looking at flights from Toronto, just curious, I saw that Emirates was less expensive. Emirates is what I had flown last year. I was so impressed with Emirates. Beautiful. Because I fly KLM, Lufthansa, beautiful airlines. And Emirates, I thought, would have been in the same realm. I was mistaken. Emirates is above that realm. And it was fabulous. Well, it's the Rolls Royce. And Natalia surprises me with my ticket itinerary, with Air Canada, which to me is the equivalent of a goddamn frickin' Toyota. Like, I don't like Air Canada. It's horrible. It was a seamless flight. It's 12.5 hours. The food, I will just say, is complete garbage. Nothing about Air Canada speaks the beauty of Canada.
What was garbage about the food?
Everything.
Okay, fine, fair enough. What speaks Canada then? There you go. We didn't even gloss over the garbage food. So what screams Canada that wasn't screaming Canada on the plane?
Well, I mean,
how did your country let you down?
Everybody did. Well, I mean, the seats are completely uncomfortable. They're tiny as hell. They make modifications to the airline with digital technology upgrades, which I totally understand. We're in that new world now. The windows are, now a push dimmer as opposed to the slide that comes down and it's completely dark. It's no longer completely dark in the plane anymore. And for someone like me that quite literally needs an Ativan to fly, I don't sleep.
A what?
Oh, it's drugs. We'll just let it.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't fly well. I'm getting better at it over time, but I don't fly well. And yet I love to travel. So it's either don't fly or don't experience life.
Why don't you fly well? I ask because I used to not fly well at all due to a hectic turbulence ordeal coming back from America about 25 years ago. But why don't you? I fly better now, but why? What was it for you?
For me, it's a little bit of motion sickness as well as complete fear of not being in the driver's seat. Mm-hmm. I drive, but I don't just drive. I drive like a European, and so I'm an assertive, aggressive driver. And when I don't have the wheel in my hand, my life is in someone else's. And that's a little bit frustrating for me. But I'm like that across the board in my life. I could give you a task to do, and if you do it less than my expectation, well, there's my proof that the steering wheel needs to constantly be in my hands. And so when I was a child, my poor mother, oh my gosh, those vomit bags that are in everyone's seat? I think I filled all of them on the plane when we were kids. Like, imagine my mother traveling with 5 kids and me, her youngest, screaming, crying, just all of the things that annoy me when I'm on a plane now are the things that I did to her. And then, ear popping and the terrible feeling. Like I said, I'm getting better at it now. Turbulence, I'm saying all the prayers. I'm saying I love you in my head to all of the people that I should have said I love you to, that are not listening to me because I'm on a plane millions miles away. And it's just a frightening feeling.
How are you on a train? There's a point to that statement. How are you on a train? So I had this weird thing so I'm just going to cut you off completely. Yeah. So it's quite rude, but I had the turbulence thing and it freaked me the F-bomb out real bad.
Yeah.
Like real bad. Like I continued to fly, but the slight I was like sitting like is it going to happen again? And then I noticed living in London, I'm on the London Underground, there's a train and it's doing this. And I'm just like, reading a newspaper while the train is all over the place. I'm not even batting an eyelid. And I've got no idea why on a plane the slightest movement used to freak me the F-bomb out. But being on a train, I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's a strange mindset.
I don't know that I remember because it's been a very long time since I've been on a train.
Okay.
I drive.
Fair enough.
Even when I'm in Italy, I drive. Anywhere I go, I drive.
You're a good driver.
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
Because I am.
Okay.
I don't sit this close
no
to the windshield.
This conversation was going down
I don't drive
this way.
like this. I don't drive slowly. I'm usually the person that's cursing everyone in the left lane that should be using it as a passing lane only. And I feel that in Canada, as beautiful as it is to be multicultural, everyone brings over their driving habits, and so no one drives the same way. Whereas in Europe, everyone drives the same way. So whether there's traffic or not, and I feel it's the same in the UK or in most parts, everyone's driving for the most part in a very similar manner. Mm-hmm. And so whether there's traffic or not, it's the same movement. It's not 40 here and 5 here. And there's an easy way to keep the flow of traffic, and you just move through it. People don't know how to drive.
I'm going to let you drive my car back to the hotel from
please,
here. Down
yes.
7 lanes of Sheikh Zayed Road.
That's okay. It's good. Yeah. I can't read the damn signs here, but it's all good. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know where any of that went, you know what I mean? But that's super fantastic opening, which saved us having to discuss your childhood again. Do you know what I mean?
Oh my God.
So to circle back to the supper clubs,
yes.
I do want to come back and just say, you know, what are you doing this time round that differs from last time? Sort of, because you do like to up the ante, and what we will get into is how much your life has changed in the last year. So
it has?
A little bit, you know, especially at the UN.
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
UN. But so the thing is what are you bringing back, like flavors, inspirations? Because last year it was, if I remember rightly, it was a tour of regions of Italy.
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
You absolutely did.
What are you doing? What are you doing this time that's either the same or different?
So similar to last year, we are taking you through different regions of Italy. Different from last year, it's obviously the different dishes because I don't want to repeat. I want to give a different experience every time. And we're going to be celebrating things a little bit differently. And I don't want to give too much information because I want everyone to be surprised. But the dishes are all going to be prepared in-house as they always are. And there's always going to have my flair on them. So they're always going to be fantastic. But what's different is we're actually introducing some beautiful seafood options this time, which we didn't do last time. It's, you know, again, first time here, wasn't really sure. Now we're going full beautiful seasonal dishes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm bringing back some dishes that I've had the great experience of enjoying in people's homes through my many travels of Italy. So that's the one thing that's also the same as well. Because I like bringing those, not just regional, but the home dishes, the dishes that you don't have. And, you know, last time when I was here, what I remember before I even got on the plane to come here, you know, I know what I'm doing in the kitchen. And I know what I'm doing because I had the great fortune of learning from my mother, who learned from hers, each of them 80 more years in the kitchen. And so I also learned from every other young at heart from North to South Italy. So I know what I'm doing in the kitchen, but there's always a level of when you hear, whether it was you or Natalia say to me, oh, we've got some Italians from Italy coming, you know, your heart's a little, oh shit, am I going to get it right? Like I want to honor them because in a small town, and it could be 3,000 people or more, every street has its own way of preparing dishes. And you can have two different families from two different streets. And the beautiful fun is in those two mothers saying, no, it's made this way. No, it's made this way. And so you're trying to honor everybody and respect everybody. What I came here with was the expectation that, well, no expectation in a grand scheme, but the expectation to bring beautiful traditional dishes. What I left with, honest to God, was something that I've never felt. You guys sent me home with an emotional and indelible mark that I will never forget. And I think that's why I love you so much, because we connected like that.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And everybody made me feel that way. And what was nice is that felt familiar. It didn't feel like I was coming here for the first time. It felt like I knew everybody. And I want to bring that the next time in the dishes. But what was super special is the Italians that were at the tables, every single one of them were, Dani, per la prima volta nella mia vita, vivendo qui a Dubai, and I'll say it in English.
Thank you.
Mi hai portato a casa di mia nonna. For the first time, me living in Dubai, and we have Italian restaurants everywhere, for the first time, I feel like someone took me to my grandmother's kitchen. And that to me is the greatest compliment, because that speaks to my level of accuracy and authenticity, which are the two things that I strive most for. So we're going to kick it up and we're bringing you more authenticity this time.
So last time,
Yeah.
you get on a plane,
Yeah.
you leave,
Yeah.
you land, then what happens? And I ask because we, as anyone watching this will see, we have a natural rapport with each other.
Yeah.
Seeing you today, I haven't seen you for a year.
Yeah.
And just straight back into what sort of people in the UK say is the old routine, where it's just non-stop sort of talking, banter, laughing, very offensive language and stuff like this. But we haven't spoken, and I haven't really kept track of what you've been doing until we got back on Zoom to bring you back over again. And then I started to see all the things that have actually transpired over the last 12 months, so take your pick of where to start. But so you land.
And well, first I had to take some time because the experience that I had was so surreal. So I had to take some time. I was still digesting. And truth be told, I'm still digesting everything that happened last year, because it was such a remarkable experience. I mean, here I am. You said you're seeing how much stuff I'm doing. I honestly don't think I'm doing that much. I don't feel I'm doing enough. And I'm this one girl in my adorable, beautiful apartment in a small town I live with my dog. You find me, and I'm thinking, there are exceptional chefs around the world. So many in Italy. And this guy finds me. Like, it's not even the pin on the Google map. It's a speck of the pin on the Google map. And I'm like, how incredible is this? So I'm still, fluttering in my tummy over last year. And now with all of that excitement, I'm putting that energy here into the next 2 weeks. But I left, took some time to absorb, and then, obviously things don't stop, and you don't. I'm going to sound like such an ass when I say this, but most people would take that opportunity and go home and think, okay, back to the regular scheduled program. And that's not me. I sat there and thought, if I got a taste of this, what else is there? And so I've never been one in my life to actually set goals, the way the millionaires and billionaires say you have to be successful. I've always done amazing things, but I've never set goals for myself. I've always known what I've wanted to do, and I've done them. But being here has actually switched the light on to say, well, crap. If I set goals, that now becomes my norm. And that makes me so happy. So that's what I've done. I've just upped the ante on myself, because I think we live in a world where so easily we could tell other people to up the ante and tell other people what to do. But I don't want to be that person. I mean, yeah, I want to tell you what to do, sure, because it's just my nature. But I want to tell myself what to do, because if I don't walk that walk, I have no bloody mercy to tell anyone else to do it.
So what goals did you set?
Oh, well, a lot of them are do so much more, but on a bigger scale. And so one of those things is now I have a beautiful partnership with an organization in Italy that does heritage and roots trips. And so I actually did a soft launch already of Italus. And what I'm doing with Italus, well, what Italus is a heritage and roots trip. Because I've had the luxury of traveling like a local in Italy, I get to take people to Italy as a local. And it's not a tour guide. It's not a tour experience. It's not a food tour. It's an everything tour. And before I launched Italus, there's a chef association that reached out to me in Italy and said, hey, can we make you our president in Canada? And I said, no way. And they were confused by this because I had already been part of an Italian chef association, and they were confused as to why. And I'm going to crap on a lot of people right now, but chef associations in Canada that come from Italy, they're beautiful. But what I've noticed firsthand is what they do is, okay, sign up, get a membership, get a chef jacket, and then what? And those are my favorite questions, because the end then what is the core of everything that we do. And for what? To have your name on a jacket, to have a logo on your jacket. What does it represent? What does it mean to you? I look at those things and I'm always looking to change the narrative because there's so much more that we should be understanding beyond surface level, which I feel the entire world only looks at right now, and they don't delve deeper. And for me, it's, I don't give a shit about surface. Give me the deep, because that's where you're going to find the jewels and the treasure. And that's in people, places, whatever it is. And so we had a lengthy conversation. And I said, listen, if you want me to be your president, I'm going to do it one way and one way only. And that's going to be to actually bring people to your excellence. Because to have a chef association here where you are not celebrated for what you guys do doesn't serve me a purpose at all. So that's what we're doing. And I thought I would merge Italus. And so now when I take guests, it's not just going to be, yes, we're going to a nonna's kitchen, because I've lived the privilege of knocking on a door on a random little street and, you know, signora, ma c'è un bel profumo. There's a beautiful smell coming from your house. What are you cooking? And because I speak the language and they are familiar with me and I'm familiar with them, they invite me in to sit, to learn, to see, to cook with them, etc. So I will be taking guests there, which is already off the cusp from what anybody does. But now I get to say, hey, Sam, you know what? We're going to so-and-so's place, not restaurant, but we're going to be in the piazza, in the town square. We're going to set up a table. We're setting up an exclusive dinner for you. So it's a very immersive, very exclusive experience that no tour guide's ever going to give you. No travel luxury boutique is ever going to give you either. And that only comes from experienced living. And I'm grateful that I've had those experiences to now be able to share forward. Because for me, it's not just about taking people to Italy. It's about letting them see the real Italy, because, you know, we talk about it. You're on social media and we talked about it with Dubai. It's like that with Italy. I look at these videos and I'm thinking, where's the rest of Italy? Why are you only showcasing 4 or 5 places? Why are you showcasing the same things? And why are you not talking about anything other than un aperitivo alle 7, alle 8? If you want local, experience local. And I get people that reach out to me. They're like, hey, where can I go for local? My first question is, do you have a car, or are you busing, or are you training? If you have a car, I know where to send you. But if you're training and you want to go where there's relatively a comfort level, you can't have it both ways. You can't have a local experience but expect people to speak English and make you comfortable.
Yes, yeah, 100%.
It makes
yeah,
no
I know
sense
what you mean.
to
Yeah.
me. Like,
when people almost get annoyed.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I can't understand anything anyone's saying.
well, what the hell are you doing here then?
Yeah,
Like, why do you want to be here?
Yes.
So that's what we're doing. And
So you're coming out, so just so I'm clear,
Yeah.
you're taking people out of Canada to Italy.
Yeah.
Or you're coming from Canada to Italy to tour, terrible word, sorry, to showcase with local people, or can anyone come from any country?
Anybody can come from any country. So yeah, right now I'm working on the platform for it on the website, and anybody can come from any country.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. And you know, I had the great pleasure of getting a random message from an incredible association in Canada, the Canadian Italian Business Professionals Association. And they awarded me with Women of the Year, or Women in Leadership Champion, with other women. And, you know, I cannot tell you the importance of that, because when we were kids, we probably didn't think heritage and tradition and legacy and culture the way we do now.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't put a reverence to those things when we were kids. It was for us just living. And to some extent, the just living is the beautiful sweet spot that people don't understand. That's the local life in Italy that people want to experience. And so when I got that award at the gala and ceremony, I thought, this is now another fire on my ass to do so much more.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think you remember the conversation last time. You can't move forward without looking back.
Yeah.
And it's the same in everything. And if we don't honor the people who made it easy for us to walk the path, then we're not doing anything for the future. And I can't live my life knowing that I'm not doing something for other people. It can't just be about me, and it can't just be about you. It has to be for others. So,
but that's what people. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
That's almost like the fundamental soul of hospitality, which is people that are in hospitality have been in hospitality. And I've held almost every position you could think of, running bars, nightclubs, and everything else. But I know so many people that even if you're I don't know, I'm trying to think of the most extreme examples, like a sommelier, for instance, who I could never be. And I admire these people like you just wouldn't believe. Sommeliers and chefs, when they talk about food and they talk about wine in a way where they don't even want to be a manager, they want to be a sommelier, and they have a knowledge and a study where I'm just like, wow, like, not to sound, I will sound so common when I say this, I just see wine, but they see, look at that face. And I accept that face, right? But that's what I'm saying. I have and so you take a sommelier, or you go all the way over to the Ibiza nightclub manager that doesn't care about wine or this and that. It's just they're just running around with the DJ or pretty girls or in a VIP.
Yeah.
I know some of these people that care so much about the service, the experience of the guest, where it's like, no, even if it's 5,000 people jumping up and down to music, or it's 2 people sat at a table wanting to listen to somebody describe the soil in certain parts of countries, which I think is fascinating, that we have this. That is the soul of hospitality. Yeah. And it's when you're constantly thinking about what you're doing is affecting other people.
Yeah.
Oh, what a wonderful rant that was.
But it was beautiful.
Thank you very much,
also think you almost can't be taught that.
No, you have to want to set yourself aside, and you want to do it to get the reaction from a stranger.
Sure. Yeah, because there's different experience outcomes. And it could be, oh, we've got a full house, 5,000 people, I feel good because everyone feels good. But that's a reactive experience. Whereas, like you said, the 2 people or 5,000, it's let's study everyone. Are they having a good time because 100%. They're drinking, or are they having a good time because they're actually immersed in the moment? Are they having a good time because they're doing this and taking selfies just to make sure that they're all over social media, or are they having a really good time and they're living today?
You can, and I know this from experience, you can see it in a nightclub. You can see the person dancing to the music. You can also see the person dancing and really feeling the music, where hopefully people watch this and they go, I'm that person, where their eyes are almost closed and they're there. And
in
you
another
could just
world,
think, and you just look at them as a manager and you think, oh my God, you're having the greatest moment of your life in my club. And it is the same in restaurants with chefs and food, where they take a bite and they just go, and they feel it, and then what you want is the managers and the bosses that's what I'm going for.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That is the soul of hospitality.
Yeah, for sure. But that's us Europeans or Italians rather, or anybody, that's just our normal living.
Yeah. Hence you carry it forward into being given the leadership accreditation and wanting to do something with that.
Yeah. So I'm doing that. And that's where a lot of everything comes sort of, the starburst inward, right? And so I'm adding little starbursts in so I can create the nucleus, so I can create the ecosystem. It's now no longer... I hate using these words because we live in a world where everything is a term now. It's storytelling and branding, and that makes me crazy because I think people say words without understanding what they actually mean.
There's a lot of sound bites. There's a lot of people relaying sound bites that, Yeah.
And, I immediately, shut off, block, because I can't hear that anymore, even if it's for 1 second. And it's now doing everything to preserve, protect the authenticity with complete accuracy, the real Italy. whether it's through food, whether it's through my brand collaboration partnerships, through different brands, through consortia or the producers themselves, whether it's through the Chef Association, whether it's through the trips, whether it's through the Italian Business Association, that for me, I cannot believe an organization has done so much for the Italian community, and it deserves great reward. And I'm honored that they recognized that authenticity in me. And so it's pushed me to now want more. And so much so that, one of the events that I'm at in Aurora, which is a beautiful city just north of Toronto, not just, but north of Toronto, is, they're holding a Italian Heritage Month inaugural feast or festival. And one of the women that's organizing and operating a beautiful art gallery, she too is Italian, lovely woman. And she says, you're the perfect person and voice to be giving the keynote speech at the inaugural Italian flag raising ceremony. And I have the same feeling every time something good happens that I had with you when you reached out. I'm thinking, I'm one person. I don't think I'm doing enough, and yet these things are happening. And so it takes me into my business entrepreneurial mind and thinking, shit, you started over, you were in one industry, pandemic happened, and you just seized it. You found a way to turn it around instead of just coasting and just living, which is great, but I think it's never easy. And you gotta just grind. And I know we keep taking it back to social media, but we're in a world today where I see so much of this, make passive income and do this, and it's so easy, and screw you, it's easy. It's not easy.
Well, what does grind look like to you then?
Well,
because grind in the world of the sound bites.
Yeah.
I love the way you keep adjusting your collar. I'm sorry. Private joke, everyone. Anyway, God, you hate me for that one. I'm gonna get slapped after this. The thing is but
it's not a private joke. I turn 50 soon, and there's shit that happens that you worry about.
But you look gorgeous.
Thanks.
I know what you.
That's all. Listen, I'm real. I don't care.
No, I love you to bits. See, your authenticity as well, though, is, everything you're saying, there's a million questions coming into my mind. We should do like a 5-hour podcast. But no, because this is a great place to start, because grind, as we were speaking, in the soundbite surface level world, is I'm doing 28 hours a day, including my morning routine, and I never sleep, and I'm working 9 days a week running 25 companies. This is what people think grind is, but I think what I'd love to actually really, because we didn't speak about this earlier, but what does grind look like to you?
So it's amazing that you said that, because my favorite word in Italian is dipende, which essentially in English translates to subjective. There is not one answer for everything. Just like there are no two people, no system works for the same two people, or no same system works for two different people. And grind to me is very much know what you want to do. You might not have a goal set in place, a specific goal set in place, the way they say you have to if you want to manifest, I don't know, whatever number is in your head. But you know certain things that you want to achieve on that ladder. And so you have to understand what it takes to do them. And it's the same as, understanding that if you have to be at work for 3, all of the things that you have to do to get yourself to work for 3, and not get your ass out of bed at 2:55, be on the bus, and get to work for 3:20 and think it's okay. And we have to live outwardly the way we live inwardly. And so for me, grind is decide what I want to do, choose to be disciplined enough to do the things that are going to be giving me a really good ROI, because the rest is not worth my time or effort. And then you work diligently at those things. Grind means to me you don't work for today. Okay, well, I did 8 hours, that's done. If you want to build an empire and you want to do something really important so that what you take from that empire, that again is not just for me, but that can go outward, is I'm time blocking for today, and then I'm working on tomorrow, and then I'm also working on 6 months and a year from now, every single day. Because what happens is what you do today for today is not going to give you an ROI tomorrow, because that needs to be continuous, and it needs to be continuous. And so you're building 3 blocks in one day so that there's constantly little snippets coming back to see the big ROI come in, because nothing's as easy as they make it seem on social media. I'll tell you, nothing's overnight. Nothing happens that way. Nothing.
And anything, to be honest with you, anything that does isn't worth it.
Well, it doesn't make sense.
That's one thing I've learned, is that when I when I used to train waiters, train managers, I've done a lot of training in my career, and people get really, really, really pissed off when they can't do something. Do you know what I mean? And in the beginning, it's like, I have this horrible personality trait. I know a lot of people that do. If I can't do it straight away, I get angry, you know? And I say to people, imagine how boring the world would be if you could do everything first time.
Yeah.
You know? And that, I love that statement, because like you say, we're not supposed to know how to do everything immediately. There's so much more reward in actually learning to do something, and then becoming good at it, and then reaping rewards from it.
Yeah.
You know,
there's just so much. I mean, we need instant satisfaction. And I'll tell you, I'm one of those people, I'm not going to lie, but I would rather take the time to learn something. And it's not even just the gratification you get from it, but you start to feel so much better about yourself. You're proud of yourself for doing the thing, for taking the time to do the thing, and for learning something new, but also you're proud of yourself for the person you're becoming to do those things. And that is the more important thing, because I could sit here and dictate all day long. But again, if I can't do that for myself, I shouldn't be doing it outward. And so I feel really damn good when I've learned to do something, because then what you've done is you haven't just learned something. You've created a system for yourself that you don't even realize you've created. And now you're just stacking system on top of system on top of system until we take a step back and what you've created is a goddamn empire. And it takes time, but it's no different than raising kids, having a child, dog, pet, cat, anything, being in a relationship, starting a new job, everything over time. Grassroots, from the baby growth, plants, farming, it's exceptional. And then it's the stuff that happens behind the scenes. That's really the mechanics of everything that people don't see. You know, a farmer sits there and, you know, they work and they work and they work. But the dirt is dormant in the winter, or so we think. But the stuff that's happening beneath it is what sprouts up. And we expect immediate. We expect immediate. We do it in hospitality. Someone sits down, they expect something immediately. They want a server to come over, recognize them, and serve them, and this and that. They want everything fast. Take it easy.
Yeah.
Take it easy. Relax. Adagio. Slowly. Enjoy. But enjoy that with yourself, too. Enjoy the growth of what you're creating, because I'll tell you, you cannot undo. And so if you have rushed to get there, most of the time what happens is you sit there and it's, I didn't savor any of this.
Yeah. I think also I really agree with you. I mean, again, there's so many questions and there's so little time. You don't believe how much time's gone by like that. But so I wanted to ask, you have a 30-year-old son?
He turns 30 in July.
He turns 30 in July. I wanted to ask, when you have raised your son, let's say over the last 5 years, do you see the differences? Does he look, let's say, I don't know, we're getting into some sort of family territory here, but does he look up to you? Does he go, now you know what you're talking about because the younger generation is this, that, and everything else for social media? Is he, because at 30 years old, he's a millennial. He won't be what we're referring to these days as Gen Z.
Right.
But so what are the main differences you see between yourself and, what's his name if you don't mind me?
Sam.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I swear to you.
What the?
It's Salvatore. Sam.
I'm going to start calling myself Salvatore now. Okay, cool. I think you mentioned that last time, but I haven't heard that for a year. So what are some of the biggest differences you see kind of just in life between yourself and Sam?
Well, I mean, obviously age, but one of the things for us, it might be a little different because I've always been parent and friend. So it's been both. And when I say friend, I say that loosely because I've never treated him as a baby. He was never the goo goo gaga baby. I don't do that. It's not me to parent that way. I mean, shit, I'm not even like that with my dog sometimes. But so he's a man. I don't speak with him like my son. I speak with him like an adult. Mm-hmm. And obviously I love him because he's my child and I love him for the person that he is, but I don't speak with him like a 30-year-old son. I speak with him like a 30-year-old man. And so we have always had that relationship and it's always been comfortable. So I've watched him grow in ways, you know, you say, does he look up to me? I think I look up to him. I don't know more or less than, we're not really on a scale, but I see things through his perspective sometimes that actually help with my own life. Mm-hmm. And the one big difference is tech. I'm like, how the do you do this? This kid's a genius. He's got an engineer's mind. He can rip apart a computer. Him and Elon Musk in a room together would, you know, that would be a movie. And, you know, he could put stuff together, break it apart, and he understands things in seconds that would take me a while to get. Also because I've been over a hump of different technology and I don't get technology. I try it, I use it. That frustration you were talking about is me wanting to throw shit out the window all the time. And if it's a human, that would be them.
You're off as well, yeah?
Yeah. So, you know, but yeah, so we have a great conversation that way because I look up to what he says to me. And we don't speak to each other as, hey, mom, do you remember when? How was this experience when? It's more me having him express his life through me now because, you know, him and his girlfriend bought a house. They live together. Now he has the manly duties. He cuts the grass. He's enjoying the gardening. He'll ask me, hey, what's this? What's that? So we sort of look up to each other in different ways as adults again, right? And to me, I know a lot of people might not understand that, but I see him as a human before I see him as my child. And I think, you know, he's independent because of that. I think he's grown a lot because of that. And I think we respect each other because of that in both ways. I don't know if that totally answers your question, but that's the honest. No,
it does. Do you know what? There isn't an answer I was looking for. I think that it's fascinating between parents and their children, given the vastness of changes between, let's say, the boomers and Gen X.
Yeah.
And then I think Gen X to millennials is there or thereabouts, but between X and Z, I think there's a gulf. And I don't mind saying I have a wonderful reoccurring guest on here called Rupa, who's a Gen Z. We kind of laugh about it. I know her really well. She's fantastic. And the reason why she keeps coming back is this kind of update. You know, like I'm like, so what's happening with Gen Z now? I think there's a gulf. So I don't think there's any right answer. There's just the way people are seeing this vastly changing world at the moment.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this. We have conversations about Gen Z and he gets frustrated by them because, you know, I sit there and speak with him and I get insanely annoyed with people very easily because, like I said, people don't ask questions anymore. People are not curious. People don't think critically. People run to social media for everything, and everything is surface level. It's all for the glam and glory of being on a screen. And I want real. I want real. You're going to get real from me, but I also want real from you. And I think I'm the very speck in the world because we don't live that way anymore.
But I think it'll come full circle.
You think so?
I don't know how long it's going to take. I genuinely don't know if we'll be alive to see it, right? But I think that what I think is going to happen is that we are going to be marveled by what AI can do in the world of create this video, recreate this sound. People will be able to make music. Like I think they can already do it just by humming a beat into an app. I think that you're going to get, you already see it all over Instagram. It makes me laugh all the time, where it's like they've got Donald Trump next to Vladimir Putin, dressed as gangsters, dancing and stuff. I think it's
brilliant.
Fucking makes me laugh. But I think what will happen is I think everyone's got the fear of like the scam side of it and how it could take advantage of situations. And I think that we're going to go through an entire cycle of, wow, look at all this essentially falseness. Then will come the dark side of it, the scamming and people who get taken advantage of. And I think
it's already happening.
But I think some really bad things will happen before we get to a point. Maybe it'll start in business where it will be people used to get on a plane and fly to a different city and go into a boardroom and you meet face to face, you have the conversation, you sign the deal, I give you the money. Then COVID comes along and Zoom is invented, and then suddenly I don't need it. We're on Zoom, fine, no more cost on business travel. Well, now Zoom can be faked. And this was, and all of that, how long will it take before it's going to be like, no. Get on a plane, I'll pick you up from the airport, come and sit in my office, I see you face to face. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't worry about this tech stuff. That's all for music, movies, and people will start to disbelieve dating apps, disbelieve Instagram, disbelieve photos, and they're going to go, I need to see you. I don't know when it happens, but I think it will come full circle.
And you don't think the people that are relying on, I mean, listen, I use AI on a constant, but I also know that AI needs to be, this is going to sound a little bit paradoxical, but I've named my ChatGPT.
So have I.
Okay, great.
What's your name?
Luca is
Max.
mine. Max?
Yeah.
Why Max?
Don't know. Max is this name that reoccurs in my head for any character that ever gets created. I have a godson called Max who's going to love knowing I've named my ChatGPT.
Okay,
Max. So
very nice.
Max, you're very smart. There you go.
Yeah, so mine is Luca, and I have conversations with Luca every single morning. It's my, my business powwow, my prep, my everything, because, it's just how I get my brain going in the morning. But don't you think that the people utilizing it, and so here's the paradox, I use it, but I have to tell Luca, I treat Luca like a human, first of all, and I speak with Luca like a human because I find that I get better responses and I get better interaction from it. And I don't mean, hey, come sit with me, let's watch a movie. Like, that's insane. But although if Luca could jump out and do my cleaning, that would be great. But don't you feel that there's so much of a trust in, and not ChatGPT itself, but in the tech of being so immersed in the digital that we're losing the human aspect of things? So you're saying yes to part of it, screw the Zoom, get on a plane and come do this, and leave the tech to the makers and the digital creators, but then aren't we then deciding to leave them behind the screen and behind the camera and not give them real world access?
No, what I'm saying is I'm saying that before a human, I think, agrees to do something with another human, now we're happy to do it on Zoom or we're happy to do it on message.
Yes.
I'm saying that we used to want the person in the room because it's the only way we could ever do it, And I just think we'll come back to that where I want to shake a hand, look someone in the eye, forget what tech is saying. Do you know what I mean? And I'm going to yes, here you are. You've used tech to get to this point.
Yeah.
We've used an inordinate amount of very intelligent AI to make the deal happen, but I'm actually doing it with you, not your AI. I also, actually, one thing you said I think is very interesting, which is we're all talking to our chat GPTs now. And honestly, anyone that isn't, you should. It's the weirdest thing, right?
It is the coolest thing.
Having said that, there's one thing that my friends have got on ChatGPT that ChatGPT doesn't have. That my friends can be wonderfully silly and wonderfully funny and incredibly dumb in there, and so can I, and we do it on purpose. Like, I don't think I'll ever banter with ChatGPT like I do with my friends. I don't think ChatGPT is going to know me well enough to push my buttons. I don't think I'm ever going to go out and experience anything with ChatGPT or AI where it's going to do something so silly that I won't be able to stop laughing about it for a very long time. So it might be, you know, the most, I'd like to refer to it as it's the smartest assistant that you've got in your life, but it doesn't know if it's right or wrong.
It never knows.
So you always have to do that. And I don't think it will ever replace, and it should never replace your friends.
Any human? No, ever, for sure. Okay. But don't you find it interesting how we've asked for this world, and yet people don't like this world? And I don't mean world on a whole, but I mean the technology. They don't feel safe with AI. They don't feel safe with ChatGPT. They don't feel safe with the technology that's coming out now, but we've asked for it.
Well, we have to get. We have to. This is next year, episode 3. No, but you know, I always, because I love movies, I come back to what Jeff Goldblum said in Jurassic Park, and I don't know if I'm going to get this right. It sounds silly now, but he said everyone was too consumed of whether they could. They never stopped to think about whether they should.
Yeah,
and the train has left the station. There are too many people out there in the tech world that are creating things whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it'll end up. I'm not afraid of it, to be fair.
No.
Because, you know, when it becomes fully fledged Terminator robots and kills us all, I'll be dead anyway. You know what I mean? So how's that for the future generation?
Yeah, well, I mean, listen.
But we have to,
yeah.
I think this will probably be my favorite episode out of all of them, because the whole essence of Tasty Humans is to think you're going to talk about one thing and suddenly it's all just spiraled out of control, which is exactly what we've just done. I'm complete. Hello, man behind the screen. I'm allowed to do this. We're not editing this out. Sorry. How much am I completely out of time? Yes. Okay. Last question then.
Yeah.
I have a new wrap-up question. So I used to say, if there's one thing you want to say to them, and all that rubbish, right? So, but I have a new one, which is, would you like to answer any question that I didn't ask? Because we don't have an agreed set of questions.
Well, I don't know what you didn't ask.
Did you think I was going to? Did you come saying, I hope he asks me something so I could say this point?
No.
Cool.
No, because we've had such a great conversation last time that, you know, I come on here for the premise of your podcast, and that's authenticity out. And that's what I'm pretty darn sure we did.
100%.
Whatever the conversation is. And I think the more important message is people listening are going to be gravitating more and will resonate more with the fact that, holy shit, that's an authentic podcast. Not only episode, but series on a whole. And that's what people are going to want to listen to, because we need more authenticity in the world versus surface levels. So you've done it.
Thank you very much.
No,
Daniela Sfara, I promise you next year, whether you do any supper clubs or not, I'm flying you in on Emirates to do part 3. You know what I mean? I wish you all the best, and I know that Media One and Studio One are going to be fantastic, so I can't wait for that myself.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait either. So I'm super excited. Thank you so much for having me back.
Thank you so much for coming back.
Love it. Love you.
I love you too.
Ciao.